You must prepare for war. You must be ready for battle. It's true. Lego the beast. We the champion. We the champion. We the champion. We the champion. Just call me Mr. Mashup. Everything I get mash up. When I touch the stage, I make the people put their hands up. Yeah, you know we jam rock. That is how we raise up. Like Ratty and say, everybody jump fuck off. Some people don't rate me, but we don't give up. If you have a hater, let me see your hands them up. And let them fools be talking. My dogs do more than barking. We about that action, we ain't really come to talk. Tell them hush them out. If they really don't know what they're talking about. Overconfident about they run the round. But I promise you one thing. Anytime you step foot with our we inside this ring, we go be the last one standing. From the time we strike up the band, watch the people them start to jam. We'll be the last one standing. Watch the hand and foot start to swing. Now we mash up everything. Now hey, 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 hey. Everything go mash up, so mash up, so mash up. The whole party go mash up, so mash up, so mash up. Tell them we bad like Ben, could never call me lame. Alright, have the baddest chick in the game with my last name. Mash up any arena, bright lights like a Ravina. And we go hit hard, harder than John Cena. That's just how we have we fun. When rhythm start to bung, and people start to shout, push them down, push them down. It's madness in this ring, when hand and foot start swing. This a real vibe, and this ain't no jokey thing. Tell them hush them out, if they really don't know what they're talking about. Overconfident about they run the round. But I promise you one thing, anytime you step foot with our we inside this ring, we gon' be the last one standing. From the time we strike up the band, watch the people them start to jam. We'll be the last one standing. Watch the hand and foot start to swing. Now we mash up everything. Now hey, 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 hey. Everything go mash up, so mash up, so mash up. The whole party go mash up, so mash up, so mash up. One thing about we the jump. 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 Tell them hush them out, if they really don't know what they're talking about. Overconfident about they run the round. But I promise you one thing, anytime you step foot with our we in this ring, we gon' be the last one standing. From the time we strike up the band, watch the people them start to jam. We'll be the last one standing. Watch the hand and foot start to swing. Now we mash up everything. Now hey, 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 hey. Everything go mash up, so mash up, so mash up. The whole party go mash up, so mash up, so mash up. You must prepare for war. Alright. You must be ready for battle. You must prepare for war. You must be ready for battle. It's true. Lego the beast. We the champion. We the champion. We the champion. We the champion. Just call me Mr. Mashup. Everything I get mash up. When I touch the stage, I make the people put their hands up. Yeah, you know we jam rock. That is how we raise up. Like Ratty and say, everybody jump fuck off. Some people don't rate me, but we don't give up. If you have a hater, let me see your hands them up. And let them fools be talking. My dogs do more than barking. We about that action, we ain't really come to talk. Tell them hush them out, if they really don't know what they're talking about. Overconfident about they run the round. But I promise you one thing, anytime you step foot with our we inside this ring, we gon' be the last one standing. From the time we strike up the band, watch the people them start to jam. We'll be the last one standing. Watch the hand and foot start to swing. Now we mash up everything. Now hey, 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 hey. Everything go mash up, so mash up, so mash up. The whole party go mash up, so mash up.
Ah, yes, good evening, people. It's the last man standing. And I go to tell them, Fearlesswarrior is also the last man standing. So much things have been happening in Trinidad and Tobago and even in the wider Caribbean and even tomorrow where the polls are open in the United States of America and those for the people in Trinidad who are United States citizens will be allowed to go and cast their vote tomorrow. Like in United States of America, they have one standard date for the election. So regardless if it falls on a Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, or Saturday, it falls on that day. You go to the polls. But in Trinidad and Tobago, so but before I leave the shooting, let me see this here. Oh God. Yes, good evening, Boston. Yes, and rain is falling, so the place is very, very, very much cold up on my side here. Um, yes, very much cold on my side, close to Piafo International Airport. And clean shave. Well, the clean shave will come eventually. The clean shave will come eventually. So tonight I have a packed show. Director, could you send me the link for the studio, please? I think. Send me the link for the studio on the down in the other one. Where we just communicate. So I could send it off for the studio so that I could send it off my guest tonight because we have a number of things to talk about and put things in perspective as it goes closer to your mic. Closer to your mic. That's all can do here. That's no people. Let me just. You want not hear me at all? Hmm. Hold on, let me just make sure here. I just put back now. All right, so you all are hearing me. So just send me back the because I'm the last man standing. And I told some people, just know, this is background music. All right, so let me just do this quickly here. Let me. All right, so the background music should be a little lower now. Hmm. All right, so I had to figure out a way I could play my background music without it disrupting the show. Because sometimes it's good to hear a little music to rejuvenate the mind. So let me talk. Rain is falling, so you know how the thing is going. Let me tell you one thing. You see, I'm talking like a real Trini for you now. I'm talking like a real Trini. You know how the thing does go. So let me see if I can just get this thing here for my guests and let me start.
You must prepare for war. You must be ready for battle. It's true. Lego the beast. We the champion. We the champion. We the champion. We the champion. Just call me Mr. Mashup. Everything I get mash up. When I touch the stage, I make the people put their hands up. Yeah, you know we jam rock. That is how we raise up. Like Ratty and say, everybody jump fucker. Some people don't rate me, but we don't give up. If you have a hater, let me see your hands them up. And let them fools be talking. My dogs do more than barking. We about that action, we ain't really come to talk. Tell them hush them out. If they really don't know what they're talking about. Overconfident about they run the round. But I promise you one thing. Anytime you step foot with our we inside this ring, we go be the last one standing. From the time we strike up the band, watch the people them start to jam. We'll be the last one standing. Watch the hand and foot start to swing. Now we mash up everything. Now hey, 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 hey. Everything go mash up, so mash up, so mash up. The whole party go mash up, so mash up, so mash up. I love we bad like them. Could never call me lame. Have the baddest chick in the game with my last name. Mash up any arena, right like a Rivina. And we go hit hard, harder than John Cena. That's just how we have we fun. When rhythm start to bump, and people start to shout, push them down, push them down. It's madness in this ring, when hand and foot start swing. It's a real vibe, and this ain't no jokey thing. Tell them hush them out, if they really don't know what they're talking about. Overconfident about they run the round. But I promise you one thing, anytime you step foot with our we inside this ring, we go be the last one standing. From the time we strike up the band, watch the people them start to jam. We'll be the last one standing. Watch the hand and foot start to swing. Now we mash up everything. Now hey, 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 hey. Everything go mash up, so mash up, so mash up. The whole party go mash up, so mash up, so mash up. One thing about we, we the champ. One thing about we, we the champ. One thing about we, we the champ. One thing about we the champ. Tell them hush them out, if they really don't know what they talk.
Last man standing. Yes, as I told you all, we will be the last man standing. A number of things have been happening in Trinidad and Tobago. So as I was saying before, we was rudely interrupted by the wind that blew the internet connection. You know how the thing does go in Trinidad and Tobago with the internet connection when rain and stormy like weather is taking place in eastern part of Trinidad and Tobago. Well, east into middle part of central is happening at this point in time. So there's heavy thunder and lightning with heavy rain at this point in time, and rain is falling. So I know a number of people when rain falling, you know, babies like to be born. Remember, this is still the leap year, so be control and put something over that willy. Make sure and wear the plastic bag. So, yes. So, before I bring on my guest tonight, I'm not seeing him on the camera. I don't know why, but, oh, okay. Take off the camera. All right, yeah, take off the camera if you want. But, so let me talk. So, before I get into my real topic tonight that I wanted to talk about, which is the cockroaches that going into the fowl party. So the cockroach dressing up like the fowl and going into the fowl party. But before I get into that, I want to literally look at something here that has been banging around and people making all kind of mischief. Just now, eh? All right, so just some news here that coming in quickly. Victim Reed Dillon's shooting, Emmanuel Morton, age 17, Nathaniel Jomet, age 17, and Zachary Achel, age 24, all of Dillon Street area. Around 7:15 p.m. were gathered in the yard of Hakin Achel, Dillon Street, when Silva Axio pulled up along with gunman, exit fire, shot in the direction of the men, and they were all conveyed to the St. James Infirmary, where the police victim shot in their lower limb, wound not life-threatening. So that is just a little update on what has been circulating on the social media, with 3 persons who are when gunmen alighted and fired some shots on them. They're talking about 17, 17, and 24. No, let me not make a joke of it, no? But good evening. Yes, good evening to all who are here. So let me get into this part of it here. Good evening, Ms. Washi. Good evening to all the people who are logged on. Let me just go to this thing because I had to save it before I lost it. Because it's something that I really want to talk about today. And it's concerning the IMF. And I heard Jenny talking about the IMF when the NAR government was in office in 1986 to 2000, and we had to go through austerity measures with the IMF and the kind of conditions that they had put on this and they had put on this country, and really and truly this country went through a time period where it needed probably to slow down. I don't know, but we went through that pain at that point in time, but we rallied and we came out of it. We were freed from the IMF, and strange enough, there are now calls for people to go back to the IMF, and also people are now stating that the IMF policies and this and that, the other, and we must follow this and we must follow that, and misinformation in the communications again in our media that is being put out in the public domain. So according to the International Monetary Fund, Trinidad and Tobago economic outlook, right? Trinidad and Tobago economic outlook is positive, with the country experiencing a gradual and sustained economic recovery. GDP. So this is under GDP here. The IMF estimates that Trinidad and Tobago GDP, real GDP, expanded by 2.1% in 2023 and will continue to grow in 2024. Inflation. So I want people to understand this part of it, because you see, a number of Trinidadians doesn't understand what is inflation. So the IMF noted that inflation declined sharply from 8.7% in December 2022 to 0.3% in January 2024. Unemployment, because I listened to Dumb and Dumber, because I had no choice of coming up in a vehicle today and to get to the studio, and I heard Dumb and Dumber talking about no jobs, and there are no jobs, and there's over 400 jobs. Last time my director checked in the government service, that they were begging people to actually come and apply so that they could fill these different positions. So there are 400 jobs available in the government service, and also in the private sector. There every day there are people hiring, because people moving out and going into different fields, who going on their own, who registering the business, who getting the little contract at the side. So when I hear people talking about unemployment, listen to what the IMF said. The unemployment rate decreased to 3.2% in 2023, down from 7.2 in 2020. In 2020, the International Reserve, the IMF, says the international reserve coverage is expected to remain adequate at a 7.5 month of prospective total imports. Market access. The IMF says that the market access conditions are better than the country's peers. Let me read that again. Market access. The IMF says the market access conditions are better than the country's peers. The IMF's 2024 Article 5 consultation recommendations. I read that again. The IMF 2024 Article 5 consultation recommended that Trinidad and Tobago continue to pursue structural reform to diversify its country, to diversify the economy, foster private sector participation, and improve the quality and timelessness of the macroeconomic statistic. So when you look at it, when I hear people talking about, oh God, they will put us back in the IMF, they will put us back in the IMF. Look, we are hearing here. Yeah, no, I had no choice but to listen to them. But I not. I just listen to all the sides, because let me tell you something. Sometimes I just listen to the front side, the back side, the left side, and then you have to listen to your back side. So when you fart, you just let go the wind. But when I hear people talking about we going back to the IMF, they want to carry back to the IMF. Look, the IMF has specified the growth of this economy. And nobody could say that it is not there. So when I see some of these political analysts jumping out and political scientists jumping out and talking and and let me tell you something, you can buy some of them to it. You could buy some of them to it, because when they call, you have one of them who have the PhD, who have the, I think it's a PhD or the something so, something Mohammed, who everybody's still questioning where he gets his degree from, or even PhD from, but he's still being allowed to talk on political and be a political analyst in this country, and questions about his degree is still in the public domain. Let me be real. So when I see these things happening, and you hear the same narrative over and over and over by some of these people, you then have to ask yourself the question, are they intentionally misleading the country for their own pocket to be filled with some kind of backroom door deal? Because you never know, you might end up seeing them sitting as want to be some economists in central bank if certain people, God forbid, they get into office. So everybody right now basically apparently looking at the backroom deals. And there's a number of parties involved in it. But just to weigh in on this thing here, on this topic here, let me bring in my budding political analyst here. Let me see if I can get him to come in here. Yes, let me see if I can get him to come in here. Yes, good evening. Oh, God. Yeah, let me just get in my budding political analyst here. Good evening. What went on there? Right. Oh, Lord. Right. So good evening, Paul.
Pleasant good evening to you, Devon. Good evening to Trinidad and Tobago, the Caribbean region, and also international. How are you this evening?
Well, I am good, and it's good to hear a fresh air on political analysis in this country from you.
Yes, thank you. I'm actually at the University of the West Indies in my final year. I'm due to
Mm-hmm.
graduate in July of next year. So I
Mm-hmm.
wouldn't call myself a political scientist or analysis unless I get the clearance from the University of the West Indies and also the Accreditation Council of Trinidad and Tobago. Unlike some others who is self-proclaiming that they are political scientists and they are not conforming to the academic acts and laws, and they just bypass that and giving the analytical or the skills that they don't have. And I can say by doing so without qualifying yourself could get you into a lot of confusion and trouble in Trinidad and Tobago, noting the fact that when we say something in Trinidad and it's very sensitive in terms of politics, we have a cross section of the population will gravitate and believe this type of nonsense.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to first qualify yourself so that you can gain the confidence of the population and the electorate, right? One
Mm-hmm.
thing I can say though that the University of the West Indies, um, by so far, they are able to let me understand the core values and the morals and everything that incline with political science, right?
Mm-hmm.
As I go along, I will learn from my predecessors, right? Not trying to degrade or discredit anybody, but at the age of 60, I still recommend you that you go and get yourself involved in some sort of political course, certification, degree, even though you may not be qualified for the GATE program under the present government, you can still pay out of pockets or you can ask Dr. Monilal to actually fund your degree. Thank you.
Um, hey, Paul, let us not talk about those. Let us not talk about those those what school of hard knocks political analysts. But
Or like
let us deal with let
backyard
us
talk and all the backyard talk and all the anyway, let's move on. Yes,
yeah,
we're
let us
talking
move on.
about the IMF and we're also
Yes,
talking about inflation.
yes. So let me deal with it from here now. So the IMF is estimating that a GDP growth of 2.1% in 2023 and a continuous growth in 2024. Paul, what are your thoughts on this whole analysis of when you look at what is happening in the country of Trinidad and Tobago? Are you not seeing a growth that is taking place in the economy at this point in time?
Yes, I believe that the growth is exceptionally well, noting the fact that we had COVID 19 and there were only essential workers that was, sorry, essential workers that was able to gain employment during that 2 years period, right? Notwithstanding that even after COVID, it crippled the economy around the world.
Mm-hmm.
However, Trinidad and Tobago, and based on our leadership that we have in Trinidad and Tobago, Dr. Rowley was able to grapple the economy. And when I say grapple, he grabbed it so fast that we wouldn't have to even face the IMF or beg the IMF like other countries to try to bring back our country in a level of socioeconomics, right? And when I hear person talks and discuss about our country is going down a road, I would say no, because if our country was going down that degrading road that some of these analysts want to speak of, then we would have been in the direction of Haiti and Venezuela, which is our next door neighbor, and that did not happen. Um, Even though we were going through our situations here in Trinidad and Tobago, the government and the prime minister was able to also help some of his Caribbean neighbors. So
Mm-hmm.
don't think that our economy was still doing at its best, even though we are still trying to build as we go along. And based on the IMF, Trinidad and Tobago were one of the countries that was able to improve in a short space of time. Looking at the significant drop of unemployment, and then it was able to gain in 2023 at a 3.2 rating. Well, I think it's a 7.2, correct?
Yes, 7.2 is the rating for 2020 from 2020.
Right. So is it as a strong indicator of the economic health?
Well, it shows basically that the economy, that more people are working. So the employment rate is down from the 7.2 to now 3.2, and that is a very good factor.
Right, because are you talking about what? It was down to what, 2%? 2.1?
No. Unemployment rate decreased to 3.2% in 2023, down
Right.
from 7.2 in 2020.
Yeah, but that isn't bad though, noting the fact, well, yes, I'm now understanding your statistics. That isn't bad though, Devon and Trinidad and Tobago, because I was looking at a decline beyond that, in terms of maybe we couldn't even catch ourselves after. In other words, catch ourselves, So I'm saying that a decline of 3.2, and where we stand previously in 2020 was a 7.2, isn't bad. And I think there's also room for improvement as time passes by, because it's not always about the employment part of it. It's also about the investment and the economy on a whole, in terms of building back ties with international reserves and whatnot.
But when you look at the public-private sector partnership, what is your take on that? Because we are seeing where we've seen a hospital being built in Port of Spain, a brand new hospital, 13 floors, and every day when I pass by the hospital, I'm seeing the finishing touches coming on, which is supposed to be opening next year. And that was a private-public partnership. The Ministry of Health, new head office, public-private initiative, the social development, public-private again. So you have a number of public and private initiatives that are happening. And the IMF is saying that that is looking good. What is your take on that?
To be quite honest, I would agree with the IMF, because we need a collaboration. When you looked at public and private, we all need to work hand in hand, because I realized that during the damaging process of COVID-19, the public sector couldn't do it by itself, because at the end of the day, the population still have to gravitate to both public and private in terms of increasing their standard of living. And without the private sector joining hands with the public, without the private sector, joining hands with the public sector, it wouldn't have worked in terms of statistics, in terms of growth and development, and in terms of stabilizing the economy moving forward from COVID-19 as of 2022. So I think the IMF is totally correct. And I think that the leader that we have right now was able to understand the dynamics, and especially take notes from the IMF, and moving forward with making proper decisions for Trinidad and Tobago moving forward.
But here's my question, Paul. Here's my question. There are many people in this country, who believe that we should jump back in bed with the IMF, and the government is leading us down that way. Is this government taking us down the road of IMF?
I don't think this government is even going to entertain the IMF, because the IMF sent out a statement saying that Trinidad and Tobago is doing well, exceptionally well. So why would we want to entertain the IMF when we don't need the IMF. I think approaching the IMF or the IMF approaching Trinidad and Tobago, it has to be in a situation where we are in dire need of everything, meaning everything has shut down. We are grappling or we are grasping for straws, and our citizens cannot survive. In this instance, as you can see, we already had a budget for the fiscal year of 2025, and you can see millions and billions dollars was there in the budget to allocate to different ministries and public and institution so that we can have our socio-economics on the way of prosperity and vision 2030 as mandated by this government. So I don't see any way in terms of looking at it directly or indirectly negatively at Trinidad and Tobago economy and stabilizing our country moving forward. Thank you.
And just before you go, Paul, just before you go, it is said that the opposition keep trying to go through this kind of fear mongering that people will lose the jobs, people lost the job. Are you seeing that really taking place in Trinidad and Tobago?
No, I'm not seeing that. What I realize that the government is doing, and I'm not saying it's a tactic before the election because we still have a year and a half or so before the general election is being called. However, I think the opposition start campaigning. So they're starting to instill fear mongering of its citizenry and the electorate by far. However, when you looked at the opposition, they are very weak. They are not standing their grounds. They're all over the place. So I think they are very much scared within themselves, and they're not sure as a small group of people in parliament or outside of parliament, they are not sure what they stand for. I see that a government is actually organizing and also creating employment for its citizenry. And with that being said, I think the electorate and the population by so far is having a lot of confidence within this system moving forward. And I think one of the reasons why we started to do the work, not late, but because we had to deal with the COVID-19 situation, which is now under control by this government. And I think the opposition wants to use another tactic so that they can now gain the confidence of the electorate so they can win the election or allegedly steal the election. But I see we have a strong leader. I see we have a strong party. I see we have a strong government is not going to let that happen. Because if the government allow fear mongering to continue in this country, it will allow misinformation and having another government trying to take over a country that we are now rebuilding. And with that being said, I cannot see that the People's National Movement and Dr. Rowley, as he hinted, this will be his last term. And I'm sure that Dr. Rowley is in the process of putting his house in order before he leaves, right? Because you can see when he spoke to Madam Speaker, he stated that he would leave politics with his head held high. And those three age words send strong volumes and sentiment, of the people of Trinidad and Tobago. And by saying that, he's not going to allow the opposition to make political mischief and misery and what he has built moving forward for the future generations. Thank you.
All right, and thank you, Paul, for coming in and just giving us some little guidance on that. I want to thank you for actually taking the time to come and talk with us tonight. So that was Paul and our political analyst at Bounce Up, and he will be our regular political analyst here, because when you can trust some political analysts, you can trust me to get the best information and sound information. There are some that you just cannot rely on at this point in time to even get the information properly, as we are seeing now that Farrell is going out and saying that people didn't look at the economic, didn't look at the budget presentation properly, and he was a former central bank governor. So one has to question him, and many of these so-called political analysts who are just jumping out of the building all of a sudden because the eater food mentality has started, and this is silly season. And as Paul rightly said, the election campaign has started. So people are campaigning at this point in time, regardless of whether or not if you like it or not. The opposition is campaigning to try and get back into office. So they are putting out a number of misinformation into the public domain and trying to stir up bacchanal, because we have seen one media house and a few media houses pushing the narratives of all kind of internal bacchanal within the party, within the PNM party, so that they will create this confusion in the electorate mind so that they will be easily walking in from an opposition standpoint. But that may not be happening so, because the electorate is not stupid. So people are not stupid in this country as what people may think. People know what is happening, and we know for a fact that people are being paid to carry out misinformation in the public domain. But this election campaign is going to be different. It is going to be something that I think people need to hold on to the saddle of the horse when they're going out there to ride. So, with that said, let me jump straight into the cockroaches that dress up like a fowl to attend the fowl party. So let me start my So this is what happened. So some little cockroaches decided, well, they dressed up like hens and went to a fowl party. But this is what happened. So they dress up like the fowls, because they hear the fowls and them having a big party. And they tell themselves, well, hey, we need to get inside here and get some of that food. We need to get inside there and get some of that food. So what they did, they put on and masked themselves. And they came amongst the fowls. But then the fowls that watched them and realized that, wait now, something wrong. Oh, these people looking a little different from us. No, it's not the Taiwanese fowl that you know about a black fowl that is come from Taiwan. The eye black, everything black. No. These little cockroaches decided that they painted themselves a different color. And they came and they started a mass and they eat the food and they're going down the road. I'll tell you, take your time. I'm talking the language here. They Trinidad and Tobago. So when they reach inside the party, they start to peck on the ground like if there's hens. And when they realize that, look now, better we call me friends, you know. Better we call me friends. And they started to call the friends. They started to call more of the friends, and they said, dress up like the fowls and them, and come in, because we're going to take over this party, but we had to do it and make sure we cement ourselves in certain positions. So when they came in and they started to make people believe that, hey, this one is not a fowl. He's an imposter. This one is not a fowl. He's an imposter. And they started to be accepted. And when they was accepted, they started to move up the ranks. So you had General Cock, Commander Cock, Lieutenant Hen, and they started to infiltrate. And while they sat down and they infiltrated, and they started to move out the real fowls, one sat down and one looked at them and said, but wait now, something not right. How come all of a sudden these fowls want to get in and try to overthrow our pen? They want to take over our pen. Them is foreign hands. We live in here. How they come in here and they want to take over we pen. No, not but no, well, they have Commander Cock. You understand? Commander Cock. So it have different people. So when they started now to try and infiltrate, they say, okay, we will then take it from the position that we going to go for different positions within the pen. And all of a sudden, they went to the chief. They went to the chief cock, and said, look, you need to get rid of Commander Cock and put in. We want to put in Lieutenant to take over. So you're looking at two different positions. One in lower rank, one in a higher rank. One is more loyal to the chief. But just so the lieutenant want to move up to commander and take over the commander position. So when the chief started to realize that, the chief then said, let me call the conference. We will then discuss it. But when they call the conference, they realize that, wait now, everybody talking like fowls, but these certain individuals not talking the same language as the fowls. Because they know fowls go quack, 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 and all that kind of thing. But these imposters who came in and tried to infiltrate the pen, they knew for a fact that they did not have that voice to talk like the fowls. So what did they do? They started to set up little organizations. We will call what is it again? Plants. They started to plant people in different quarters. And when it was that they realized that they say, okay, we will all go and look to eat. We will go and start to eat. So they put them on the table. And some of them who was around the table, out of the majority who was supposed to be the fowls, end up being the cockroaches in disguise. And they will go and complain to the chief fowl. Hey, this one is not a fowl. That one is not a fowl. He left from here. You can't trust him. Get rid of this one. And all kind of things that started. Because they wanted to implant themselves and embed themselves so strong. But when the chief sat down and this chief started to do proper critical thinking of what was happening in the pen, the chief then said, well, we will throw the bait and let us see who will come to eat it. And if they come to eat it, then we will know all who is the impostors. So when they now decided that they will throw this feast, they threw in a feast and they wanted to invite the chief. But the chief said, nah, why you go ahead, man? Why you go ahead and eat? Eat the food that is there for you all eat. They came and they started to eat. They eat until they start to challenge for the chief seat. My goodness! And when they try to challenge for the chief seat, the chief then realized, wait now, or you feel, or you bright, or you ain't bright, or you ain't smart at all. Because if you think we will plant cells within my pen, that will not work. So they started, these imposters started to write all kind of mad articles and put it out in the public domain, pushing the narratives. And when they started to push all kind of narrative, they said, well, hey, we here to have senior positions open. We want to take them. And they're not even allowing a process to happen. They started to fight in the pen until a few of them get kicked down. It was big ruction. And when they get kicked down, because let me tell you something, there's some big giant cocks. And don't talk for some of them hens and them, it was big fight. And when the fight took place, a few of them get knocked down. And the fowls and them realized, the real fowls realized, oh wait now, these are not fowls. These are cockroaches. We need to deal with them. We need to destroy the cockroaches. And a loud horn went out. A loud horn went out to rally all the fowls to come back in. And when all the fowls came back in, they realized all who was the imposters, all who wanted the throne, the chief, all who wanted the positions of commander, lieutenant. And what happened? One by one, the fowls and them then said, we having a feast. Because they went all around them, all around the cockroaches. They went all around the cockroaches and make them into the circle that they couldn't run to go nowhere. And the fowls and them started to have a big meal of destroying these imposters that came in to infiltrate the fowl pen. But the fowls and them were not having it. The fowls and them were not having it. So they started to eat. And what the fowls and them did, they started to talk fowl language. And when they spoke the fowl language, they realized that the cockroaches and them, the other imposters, could not talk the same language as them. And they started to call for the guards. They started to call for the guards. And they said, take them out. One by one. All the cockroaches and them started to show themselves. Because they take off the costume. They take off that costume that they had on. That foul costume. And all of them fell to the ground. And the fowls eat, destroying them one by one, one by one, one by one. And when they started to see that they couldn't infiltrate, they started to pat down. And a few cockroaches started to get out, try to run outside. But all of them were unmasked. They couldn't put on no mask again. They were all unmasked. And they still tried. They come from different quarters. Every nook and cranny. You had the sophisticated cockroach. You had the smart man cockroach. You had the ghetto cockroach. You had all kinds of cockroach trying to destroy the fowls. But the fowls was not having none of it. And the fowls eventually won the battle. That the fowls and them for the first time said we will drink wine and celebrate our victory over these cockroaches and them who tried to come in to take over our pen. Because the worst thing to have is cockroach in your house. The worst thing to have no, they come in. But the worst thing to have is cockroach in your pen, especially a German roach. They're very hard to get rid of. But because of some of them who feel that they're back, you know something, a mash up cockroach and he died. He's still walking, he's still moving, he's still reviving life. So he tells himself, well, I will survive and I'll come back. That's why you have to crush them hard. Make sure they don't wake up. Make sure you see something coming out from them. That kind of white thing will come out from the cockroach. Spray on the ground after you clean up that cockroach because you don't want no scent coming back there. Because all these cockroaches, all they have been coming to do is suck of the food of the fowls. We know who the cockroaches on them are. We see the cockroaches on them and what they're for and what they're about. But we must never, never allow them to infiltrate your house at no point in time. Because they are dangerous. They are deadly. And they have germs. Germs. Imagine cockroach writing articles about the fowls. Imagine that. Well, that is what the fowls and them had to do. They call in the troops. And the troops had to attack. Because they did not want those cockroaches to take over. Because they started to multiply. And because they tell themselves they was eating the food from the fowls and them, they tell themselves they had power. Because remember, they were masked. They were masked as fowls. Because they eat, they laugh. You can imagine you seeing a cockroach. You can imagine you seeing a cockroach picking up a phone and saying who is foul and who is not foul. Imagine that. And all they wanted to do, oh my goodness.
You must prepare for war. You must.
See me, Ew. So long you not see me, when you see me, I will take it away. So long you not see me, when you see me, I will take it away. So long you not see me, Woman say they want feel me, promoter say they need me. To mash up the place, to rip up the place, soca music don't steal me, and the power reveal me. Some woman claim that they dream me. I swear, I swear, I swear. You don't see me, when you see me, I will take it away. Yeah, 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 yeah. So long you don't see me, when you see me, I will take it away. Yeah, 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 yeah. I miss all the commotion and all the promotion and crossing the ocean and all the celebration and all my friends together at one location. I swear, I swear, I swear, I swear. You don't see me, when you see me, I will take it away. So long, you don't see me. So long, you don't see me, when you see me, I will take it away. So long, you don't see me. So long, you don't see me. Woman said they want feel me, promoter said they need me. To mash up the place, rip up the place, soca music and steal me. The power reveal me. Some woman say they dream me. I swear, I swear, I swear. So long you not, so long you not, so long you not see me. So long, so long, so long, so long, so long, so long. I miss every Grenadian and all Vincentian and all them Belgian and all Jamaican and all St. Lucian and all the islands. I swear, I swear, I swear. You don't see me, when you see me, I will take it away. I swear, I swear. So long you don't see me, when you see me, I will take it away. So long, so long, so long, so long, so long. So long you don't see me. Woman said they want feel me, promoter said they need me. To mash up the place, rip up the place, so come me what they feel me, and the power reveal me. Some woman claims they claim, say now. When you see me, when you see me, when you see me, I'll take it away. I'll take it away. I miss all the commotion and all the promotion and crossing the ocean and all celebration and all my fears together at one location. I swear, I swear, I swear, I swear.
Because no race has the last word on culture and civilization. They do not know what we are capable of. They do not know what we are thinking. Because my work has only just begun. Up you mighty people, up you mighty people, up you mighty, up you mighty, up you mighty.
Feel it down in your soul, till you can't control it. Put your hand up to the sky, mama don't ask why. In these dark and lonely times, we go turn the tide. If you're looking for a sign, turn and look inside of you. Your body is a temple, your sweat is holy water. Every move you're making is praise unto the master, yes. Yeah, 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 yeah. Because you're powerful, powerful, inside, outside, wonderful, magical, beauty, can't hide me and you, never lose, trust me, can't lie, hopeful, hopeful, till the day we die. Whoa, powerful, yeah. Oh, my beautiful people, full of wonder, wonderful. Whoa, powerful, yeah. Oh, my beautiful people, full of wonder, wonderful. Up you mighty people, up you mighty people, up you mighty, up you mighty, up you mighty people, up you mighty people, up you mighty people, up you mighty, up you mighty, up you mighty people, up you mighty people, up you mighty people, up you mighty, up you mighty, up you mighty people, up you mighty people, up you mighty people, up you mighty, up you mighty, up you mighty people.
The music is a little too loud, director. All right, so we are back, we are back, we are back. We are experiencing some yes, so we are experiencing some bad weather on the east mid central region of Trinidad right now. Thunder and lightning with some rain, and so it is causing some problems at this point in time. So they did put out the bulletin today, and we are experiencing it from as early as before the show even started. So well, David, but that's how it is sometimes. That's how it is sometimes. So let me get back to the story. Let me get back to the story. Now, these cockroaches entrenched themselves so much that they became so powerful that anything the cockroaches and them, the imposters had said, the fowls and them went with it because it was like gospel truth because they accepted them as family, not realizing that they were there to take over the pen. How dare you come into my pen and try to take over my pen? And some of them started to do it. So they built a force. They built a force. And it was no jokey mountain. And one by one, they started to infiltrate. And then they started to be en masse. And the more they have been en masse at this point in time, the cockroaches and them, right now, they are feeling the pain when the bump is sprayed on their backs. No, I said it have someone was stuck. So it had the cops, it had the lieutenant fowls, but they were coming for the senior positions. They were dangerous cockroaches. You cannot afford to have them there. So now, part one of the battle of the fowls versus these cockroaches, these imposters have started. They have started. And these imposters are one by one trying to ensure that these cockroaches enter to senior position so that they can take control of the chief fowl in the pen. You see, politics in any organization is played in different forms. And one has to be very careful when you don't understand the politics and you dive into it. Because had the cockroach continue their mantra to control and overthrow the fowls in them, by the time they wake up, if they were sleeping, it would have been too late. But it was good thinking that people realize who these cockroaches and them were. And they have started to sweep them or kill them, because cockroaches make good meal for fowls. We must not accept these cockroaches to continue doing the foolishness. To bring the fowl pen into disrepute. We must never do that. Because all the fowls, when they sharpen the beak, not one of those cockroaches, not one, will be able to survive. And they didn't realize that these fowls, they don't play with the pen. They protect the pen at all costs. No, they don't want to go and build their own pen. Because it's easy to take control, they say, of this pen. And those who didn't hear felt the wrath coming down on many of them. So that was part one of the cockroaches going to the fall party. Part one, and masking as fowl. Stay tuned for part two, when the time is right, which is very soon, when we will know and we will expose who these cockroaches are. In part two. Noel, the Cobos had to join in the battle, but you will know them. You will know them in due time. We all know who some of them are. You got to show this, they show themselves. So wait for part two. I take no prisoners. And I say what I have to say. People are fed up. And they're fed up of these cockroaches. They're fed up. And this time, all the cockroaches, every one of them in part 2 and part 3 will be destroyed. Well, when the fowl reveal the files of some of these cockroaches, or yourself will ask for yourself, how did we allow that to take place? So, people, hold on, let me just, I see somebody want to get in here. Let me just make sure that the system is all right and ready to go. Ah, yes, good evening, sir.
Evening to you, my brother. Good evening, son. That's segment.
Go ahead.
And I must say, you forgot 2 cockroaches. That is flying one. The flying one and the one with the back that be hard. But they mash them, they'll still be going. They back like concrete. So that is 2 years you forget. But all these cockroaches, you know what did I say? Despite the situation, when a certain time reach, all of them they're stop together, right?
Yes.
For a common cause.
Yeah.
Right. So all the species of cockroaches that is eating that the foul party and they want to destabilize the foul pen. Right? When such time reach, all of them go come together. And this is where that all the fowl, all the yard cock, and the hens that them have to come together for the common cause to get rid of those German roach, flying roach, the concrete back one, you name it. You understand? But I await part 2 of all these so-called cockroaches, where you just find them in the latrine and all places that they will be just to get to the one. Yeah, I love to listen.
All right. They will be coming out, I'm telling you. And I'm glad you talk about the latrine roaches. And when all them come together, yes, trust me, they come in for a good cause. Them come in for their cause to attack the fowls because they tell themselves it's a good cause they come in for. Not realizing the fowls and them allowed you to come into the pen. They trusted you in the pen. And what did you all do? As cockroaches who masking as fowls. You all betrayed the trust of the fowls. And that is why the fowls will get rid of the cockroaches. They will all come together. The broiler fowl, the yard cock, the yard hen, the layers, all the real fowls will combine against all those toxic, nasty cockroaches. And one by one, we will see them being removed from the pen. So stay tuned for part 2. Stay locked on as we tell you all the story of the cockroach masking as a fowl in the dance. So tomorrow is Tuesday. And tomorrow, well, actually people voting from since last week, I heard, in the elections. If you're living in, like, say, Trinidad, or you're living in different parts, you can vote early. America's system is a little different to Trinidad system. So you can go there, if you are American citizen, you can go there and you have 2 persons to vote for. You have the Democrats and you have the Republicans. I will reserve my review, and tomorrow I think that we may be broadcasting or televising the coverage of the elections as it is heating up. The final countdown to tomorrow, and by probably midnight, well, not midnight, probably by 1 o'clock or 2 o'clock Wednesday morning, we may hear who is the new president of America. And but one of the other things that we want to look at, that I will be looking, I'm doing a little more research into, is this whole question of BRICS. And what is BRICS? And how it is going to impact on our dollar. Because as far as it was launched, I think it's 100 or something so. But I'll get all the information on BRICS, and our banks and our stock exchange ready to embrace BRICS, the new currency that has arrived on the market, on the world. It is something that we have to talk about. And also, I'm going to get some information on the cashless society that we are moving forward to. As Shay said, he wants to talk about it. So if he wants to ask questions, we have people who we are going to try to get in contact with to talk about this cashless society that the world is, well, some of the world is looking to go towards. So people, you saw this morning's program, you saw the midday program. I think we would have been broadcasting a midday program, and we had 2 programs actually running simultaneously at one point in time, which was the Darien program on YouTube, because they don't have no YouTube channel. So we are broadcasting it on our site as well as the YouTube channel. Please like, subscribe, and also join our bounceup.com site, where you will have the chat and all the different things. And on one of our next shows, we will dive into our live chat that we can have here, and you will see it for yourself. All the features that you can benefit in our live chat. Also, so you're going to see a number of things that is going to be happening, but we're going to be talking about BRIC that will be coming up in the digital transformation of the new currency. So let's see. And then, oh yes, we had Sister Jenny. Let me talk the things. Yes, we had Sister Jenny, which flowed basically right after Darian and them show. And also, well, the final show, which is the Fearlesswarrior show, which is Fine Point, where I just pop up. But tomorrow, we are going to try, wait, not today, yeah, today's Tuesday. Oh, yeah. So on Wednesday, every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday is Jenny. That will be Jenny. Yes, every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday is Jenny. And Wednesdays and Thursdays will be Dauntless is on Wednesday. Thursday will be Culture Point. And as always, Fearless always pops up at any given time to have a show. But tomorrow, we will have a show tomorrow because we'll be looking at the elections in America and how it's in and how are the polls swinging in the United States election. It is a very important election. No, well, let me tell you something. I do like roach at all. I just fly up. If I only see a roach, because if I see a roach, let me tell you something. I gone one time. I don't want them roach around me at all. I'm telling you honestly. And the worst, one of the worst is German roach. They're very hard to get rid of. So if you have them little nasty little roach popping up in your house, try and get rid of that quick. Because German roach is multiplied faster than most of the bigger hardback roach. You know, when you have a big hardback roach, yeah. I must get it synchronized swimming, but it was swimming in a toilet bowl. Yeah, the roaches are swimming in a toilet bowl, synchronizing swimming. So we are going to be looking at the elections tomorrow. It's going to be a hot day tomorrow. And people, if you are American citizen, those who are living in all over in America, I know some people, I'm going to tell them go out and vote. Some people have already told me who they're voting for already. And but that's their right. I'm not going to say who, but it's going to be a very hard fight in that tomorrow's election. And let me tell you something, those people who are running down the minorities to vote, look out. Many of them will be coming out to vote tomorrow. As they have said on many different news channels, the minorities are coming out to vote because they have the right to vote. So Puerto Rico, who is just is not really a state of America, but a territory of America, because they haven't taken up that state position. I don't know how they voted. But boy, let me tell you something. I'm afraid when they have the name, well, I can't trust Trump, and I'm afraid when they have the name called Kamala. So I don't know. But people say, I don't know. See you all tomorrow and have a blessed and productive night. Director, take me out, please.
When I say Caribbean, and we go hit hard. Harder than John Cena.